to today's video. And in today's video, I will be discussing which states I believe should be considered swing states for the 2022 midterm. So I'm going to go label the states that are entirely out of question, that would not at all be even considered for maybe being a swing state. So I'm just going to go get that out of the way. Yeah, John Ballard's not going to run. Even if Jamie Harrison were to run in South Carolina, it wouldn't be a swing state. So yeah, we have 20 states currently unlabeled. Oh, New York, 18. Or 19. 18? Where did that come from? So I'm going to essentially be discussing which ones I do think would be swing states. So we can start over here in the West. Let's go start with Nevada. I do think that Nevada should be considered... Oh, sorry. This is doing this weird thing. Sometimes, for whatever reason, my swing state thing doesn't always like to let it work. Give it a second. Just give me a sec. Okay. Now it is working. So I do think Nevada should be labeled a swing state. I mean, if we go look at I have a bunch of maps pulled up. Yeah. 2020. Why am I looking at the Senate map? 2020 president. Biden won the state by 2.4%, which is obviously not a very large margin. And we can also go over here and look at the 2016 Senate results. Catherine Cortez Masto won the state by a similar margin. Biden does have a higher approval rating there right now than Trump did on the day of the midterms, but I do think that Biden would still ultimately the Democrats would still come away with a win, but I think it would probably be competitive enough for it to be classified as a swing state. Next state of Arizona, definitely should be considered a swing state. Now, it could go red, but it's not gonna happen. But it's still a competitive state. I mean, the Arizona GOP, if they are more competent, would be winning here, but they're not very competent. So I don't necessarily think that they would win there. But once again, it's definitely gonna be close. Mark Kelly only won here by 2.4% against Martha McSally, who was definitely a bad candidate. I mean, the state's suburbs are gonna continue to shift to the left. But it should be considered a swing state, and essentially everything that I can think of until at least 2036, if not later. Next up, the state of Colorado, and I don't think that this one should be considered a swing state. Biden won here by 13.5%. Hillary Clinton only won here by 4.9%. On the same ballot, though, that Michael Bennet won here by 5.7%. So Michael Bennet outperformed Hillary Clinton. I think that he will likely outperform Biden, especially 2 years later. I think that he will likely end up carrying the state by a safe margin. So I don't really think it should be considered a swing state. Next up, South Dakota. Only possibility is if Kevin Cramer gets insanely unpopular. Which I think he would be unpopular just in general, but not in South Dakota, where it's an uber conservative state. Or if for this to happen, for the Democrats to make it relatively close, the Republicans would have to run why am I saying Kevin Cramer? He lost in 2018. John Thune. They would have to run a very bad candidate, someone who is uber Trumpist. Actually, that might even be popular enough. I'm struggling to think of a candidate that would be bad in South Dakota. Maybe a centrist, moderate Sununu type. And then the Democrats were to run Heidi Heitkamp. It could be close, but that's the chances of that happening are highly unrealistic. John Thune, he's not a moderate, but he's more anti-Trump than most Republicans in Congress, or at least in the Senate. So he is, he's still probably gonna win by a safe margin. Even against Heidi Heitkamp, he'd still probably win by a safe margin. Next up, the state of Kansas. The only way, once again, this would happen is if, I guess we could see, Chris Kobach primary, Jerry Moran, and then Laura Kelly run, and it could be very close, and we could actually see Laura Kelly winning. But, the Kansas GOP is probably smart enough not to run Chris Kobach again, and I doubt that Laura Kelly would run, especially to risk losing when she already has a tough seat to retain. So no, that's not a swing state. Next up is the state of Missouri, and it's the Missouri GOP LTE has a really good video on this. So you should go check it out. I'm not gonna make a whole video after LTE just did. So you guys should definitely go check that out. It's a really good video. But the Arizona GOP, the Missouri GOP is sort of unintentionally creating a swing state for themselves. And I mean, like, the Missouri Democratic Party, I think, is a fairly strong Democratic Party. Like, they're much better than the Democratic Party in, say, Florida, where they just don't know what they're doing. So they're definitely better than, like, the Florida Democratic Party. I think that if the Missouri Democratic Party were to be in Florida, Florida would probably be have a lot of Democrats, probably at least one Democratic senator, maybe a Democratic governor. So they're definitely a strong Democratic Party. So I don't necessarily know that this should be considered a swing state. After Blunt retired, if I don't remember his name, I'll have to go remember. But the guy that essentially LTE was making a video about, former governor, if he ends up being the nominee, it could be close. But I think that if Blunt's not going to run, and I mean, like, he might still be a decent candidate. I don't know. But I don't necessarily know that should be considered a swing state quite yet. So far out in such a safe red state. Next up is the state of Iowa. I don't think this should be considered a swing state either. Chuck Grassley's too popular, and if he were to get primaried or retire and the Democrats were to run a really good candidate, it could be close. I wouldn't bet on it, though. I think it's probably a safe red. Next up is the state of Illinois. Once again, nope, not Wisconsin. What's it called? The GOP National Senatorial Committee or whatever. I don't know what they're doing running ads in Illinois. Like, your ads would be better spent in somewhere else. I think they were running ads in, like, Nevada, Arizona, New Hampshire, Georgia, and Colorado or something. So, I mean, like, in Illinois. So, like, spend your ads in Wisconsin or something. Don't spend all your time running ads in Illinois. It's a safe blue state. Tammy Duckworth is not going to lose. She flipped it on the same ballot as Hillary Clinton and won it by a safe margin. She's not gonna lose. It's not gonna be close. It's definitely gonna be a safe blue state. Next up, Wisconsin, definitely a swing state. I don't really think anyone really denied that. Ron Johnson won by like 3 percentage points, something around there. He's not gonna win by a larger margin than that. I still think he'll win, but I think it'll be narrow. And considering the fact that Biden just won there and that he's not great for the white working class, Johnson that is, I think also considering the fact that he is like one of the most right-wing Republicans in the Senate, and he's from a state that just voted for Joe Biden, it's not a good sign for him. But I still think he'll probably win it by a safe margin, or not a safe margin. What am I saying? I think he'll still win it by like a lean margin, maybe a tilt margin. But it should be definitely considered a swing state. Next up, Indiana. No. The GOP. Todd Young is just too strong in Indiana. I mean, like, he's got moderate appeal, but he also has Trumpist appeal. I don't think he'd do great on the national level, but I do think he's a good candidate for a state like Indiana. And like I've said, the Arizona Democratic or the Indiana Democratic Party tends to field good candidates. I just don't see it being a swing state. Next up, state of Ohio. I mean, like, yeah, I think it could be considered a swing state. The Ohio Republican Party might run a good candidate, may not. I don't really know. I don't think that they're like Jim Jordan's not gonna run. Mike DeWine, John Kasich's not gonna run. Portman, if you don't know, already announced his retirement. So I mean, like, I don't know who necessarily they would run. I think that Tim Ryan would be really strong for the Democrats. So I think that if he were to run, it could be easily classified as a swing state. Pennsylvania, yes. This is definitely a swing state. Fetterman, Kenyatta, Connor Lamb, if he chooses to run, they're all really good candidates. The Republican Party are probably gonna lose it narrowly. They're probably still gonna run a strong candidate though, especially like what's his name, Ryan Costello is a strong candidate. A lot of these candidates with white working class appeal, a lot of these candidates with like suburban appeal, these are all good candidates. I think it'll be close, but I think that Fetterman would narrowly win it. So yeah, Pennsylvania definitely gonna be close. North Carolina, same thing. This is one of the closest races that we're gonna see. I have an election night right now I'm working on. I have two. I don't remember their names. Someone else I have to look. I'm gonna have to remember that because I I'm good when it comes to remembering actual like senators, but I'm not great right now with senatorial candidates. Someone needs to study up on that a little. But I mean like they're both strong candidates. These I think they both announced already. They're strong candidates, and I think that they could both do very well. And it's just one of the closest states in American politics today. State of Georgia, definitely going to be close. Herschel Walker, Doug Collins, Loeffler, Perdue, they're all candidates. They've got like kind of white rural appeal, but they don't have the suburban appeal. They're all pretty awful suburban candidates. Walker might be the best of them all, maybe Doug Collins. But they just don't have the enough appeal in the suburbs and in Atlanta to be able to win it. But I do think it will still be a swing state. It would be very close, especially with Walker or Collins. I think that they would be two of the stronger candidates. Florida, I'm not certain that it should be. I mean, like, Stephanie Murphy is definitely a good candidate. For whatever reason, the Florida GOP or the Democratic Party has decided to run. They're good candidates now, except for it's against incumbent senators who are already popular and already going to win. So I don't know what's going on in the Florida Democratic Party, but Stephanie Murphy and Nikki Fried for Senate and Governor would definitely be two strong candidates. Obviously Nikki Fried's going to run for governor, or she likely will, and Murphy's likely going to run for Senate. Murphy's a good candidate, so I do think that's probably one of the bigger reasons. But Rubio, he has lots of suburban appeal. He definitely has Trumpist appeal. He has moderate appeal. So I think he's a really good candidate. But I do think we should still be talking about like a swing state. Maryland, no. Larry Hogan's not going to run. It's not going to be a swing state. It's a safe blue state. Don't think that it's going to be competitive. And same with Vermont. Phil Scott, even if he runs, it's like lean blue at worst for the Democrats. Like, maybe if Patrick Leahy retires and the Democrats run like some horrible, like, communist or something, then yeah, it'll probably be red. But, like, no, it's not going to be close. Phil Scott's not going to run. It's just not going to happen. New Hampshire, yes, definitely. Sununu is going to run, or he likely will run. And it's already a swing state. Sununu's a very, very good candidate for the state. Hassan narrowly won. I think that Sununu would beat her by like 7 or 8%. Upwards of like 13, 14%. But it is it will still likely be a close race. And I do think we should consider it a swing race. The swing is less of who's going to win and more of like who's going to run. Because it's really up to whether or not Sununu runs. But I do think it'll be a fairly competitive race. Finally, the state of Alaska. Nah, it's not going to be a swing state. I mean, Lisa Murkowski is obviously a very, very popular incumbent. And she's going to get, with this new ranked choice voting system, she's going to get enough Democrats. Obviously, I mean, like, she's probably going to get a few Democrats putting her as their first choice. But she's likely going to get almost every Democratic second choice vote, if not most of them, because some conservative Democrats may vote Libertarian, or some Democrats may go Independent for their second vote. But I think that she's going to just do very well with Democrats. If she were to become a Democrat, it wouldn't really affect her electorally. I think that she'd still win. But, I mean, like, she's not going to become a Democrat, so I don't think it really should be considered as a competitive state, a swing state. So, yeah, these are the only remaining these are the current swing states. Nevada, Arizona, Florida, Georgia, North Carolina, Ohio, Wisconsin, Pennsylvania, New Hampshire. I think that these are the states that we should be considering as swing states. So, yeah, thank you guys so much for watching the video. If you enjoyed it, please leave a like below. Don't forget to stay tuned for my next video, which will be tomorrow. Once again, not really certain what to film, so please comment suggestions down below. Subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you all there. Bye.